the intellectual giant of Megyn Kelly, talking to Batya Ungar Sargon of Akkad, or whatever the her name is. Megyn Kelly.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls.
Barely legal? No, that's not barely legal. Barely legal is 18 plus. 15 is not barely legal, Megyn. 15 is illegal, actually. Like, very much so. And for the record, I hate the fucking counters on this shit because people will be like, well, actually, what about Romeo and Juliet laws? And it's like, yeah, okay. Romeo and Juliet laws are so that that people that are in the age range that started dating before one of the two people actually became 18 years old, so they don't like unnecessarily go to prison, okay? That's not for like a 50-year-old to try and date a 15-year-old. That's for, you know, a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old dating, and then one party becomes 18 and the other one is 17. That's what Romeo and Juliet laws are for. So I don't know why you're running around with this like laminated card of Romeo and Juliet statutes in every state.
And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just whatever.
Thank you. That's cool. There's a distinction between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. That's insane, man. That's fucking insane. The only people who are arguing for this are people who get off on having power over someone or have been convinced that they should want to be controlled. They like being able to be in control. I mean, yeah. Okay. You probably have a daughter or a child that is that age. How would you feel if Jeffrey Epstein was trying to and was actually moving her around the world without her consent, because she is incapable of consenting, and having sex with her, raping her? Because that's what it is. It's not devoid of consent, so it is rape. Like, do you think it's appropriate? Megyn Kelly defending pedophilia before GTA 6 was not on my timeline. I mean, if you know how Republicans operate, then you know that it's not. Yeah, what makes it extra gross is Megyn Kelly's a preteen daughter. Are you okay with Donald Trump having sex with yardlers or other people's sacrifice? That's crazy that she literally has a daughter that is at the same. I dead no hella predators, but I still hang with them just to see how their mind work. This is. That tweet is so funny. I can't believe we just snapped into something humorous in a not so humorous situation. But I don't know, controversial opinion, guys, but I think we should keep the social stigma around pedophilia. And before people go, actually it's a phebophilia, the argument that you're presenting, as I always like to say, is that you think some minors are fuckable, because that's what you're saying. When you say, actually, it's a phebophilia, it's not a baby, you're just parsing through. Like, technically, even if you are correct in terms of like the designation between like children versus preteens, the argument that you're presenting is that you find some minors, some kids, to be sexually attractive, and you are trying to justify having sex with them, raping them. It's fucking insane. Like, you're basically saying, like, there's a different type of pedophilia that I think is fine, which, you know, maybe controversial take, Yeah, before people say classic John Marco joke, by the way, I've been saying that for years. Okay, he has a really good joke about this for sure. But in all of my many years of duking it out in the marketplace with debate lords, I've often used this counter argument over and over again. The distinction only matters in the realm of psychopathology. Yeah, it's black-pilled Andrew Fogel. I can't believe I spent like 10 years studying the immortal science of dialectical materialism only to find out that the central truth of American politics is that we are governed by demonic pedophile cabal. What if all the authoritarian purges in China are just protecting these people from pedophile-occupied government? Pog. Yeah, it's not Zog. It turns out it's Pog. That's the one unifying factor, it seems. It's just these guys, regardless of their ideological leanings, their worldview or their background, religious beliefs, it's actually Pog. They are united in the one singular thing. Turns out the conspiracy theorists were right, that these guys all just find themselves captivated by the allure of this very famous pedophile sex trafficker. What an insane moment, dude. GOP, guardians of pedophiles. Good one, chatter. Will the hardcore Trumpers ever come around on this? Or are they just going to heavily chip around the margins? I think some will. New York Times also dropped this bombshell investigative report on Matt Gaetz. New for the first time, the story of the 17-year-old girl who testified that she had sex with Matt Gaetz for money. She was living in and out of homeless shelters. She was working at McDonald's. She had just finished her junior year in high school, and she wanted extra money to try and save up to pay for braces to fix her teeth. Dude, this country is so fucked. Like, this is evil shit on the Matt Gaetz side. Absolutely. But like, the system is also demonic. You have to understand, this is a twofer. The system is demonic first and foremost because we have victimized this 17-year-old. No 17-year-old should be homeless, man. No one should be homeless. A 17-year-old girl who is homeless is living in a homeless shelter while working a job at McDonald's, finishing her junior year in high school, and then doing this to pay for braces to fix her teeth. Do you think Democrats are on it too? I think they have anything to worry about? Yes. What? Yes. Chatter? Yes. What did I just say? It's POG. Pedophile occupied government is bipartisan, is uniparty. Pedophilia is uniparty. What do you mean? Bill Clinton is like the most famous and perhaps the most like Bill Clinton is the most famous example of like a high profile Democrat who was directly associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason why a lot of Republicans actually got on the Epstein train and were constantly needling at it, constantly talking about it, was because they thought this was a Democrat pedophile operation. They thought that this would finally expose the elite pedophile cabal that the Democrats were running, not realizing that it was just bipartisan always. It was bipartisan all along. It's crazy that you sound like QAnon, but not crazy. Who'd have thought we'd end up here? I mean, I've always been I've always paid close attention to the Epstein stuff, as you guys know, for many, many years. So this is not that shocking to me. It was always also a nuisance for me to constantly have to like go over the QAnon stuff and like redirect people's attention to real events like the Epstein conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy that conspired to do crimes, as opposed to like the most nonsensical versions of these events, which revolve around, QAnon and Pizzagate and conspiracies of that sort. I know we jokingly offered lip service to Pizzagate now, but Pizzagate is like the most base boosted and silly version of this. And in many ways, it serves the purpose of a distraction away from the real version of events. Jeffrey Epstein, in an email to former Obama Deputy Counsel Kathy Rumler, suggested providing girls to illicit powerful figures, including Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel, who, by the way, as you guys know, is J.D. Vance's mega donor, and the reason why J.D. Vance is the vice president to begin with. Peter Thiel is single-handedly responsible for J.D. Vance becoming a senator, and Peter Thiel is almost single-handedly responsible for J.D. Vance becoming the vice president. Also, former CIA Director Bill Burns, former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown, former Norwegian Prime Minister Thorbjørn Jagland, former Mongolian president, and officials from the UAE, India, and Qatar. Talking to Obama Deputy Counsel Kathy Rumler about the UN General Assembly in 2014. Most girls didn't have to worry about this crap. Understood it comes down to high risk reward, low risk reward, professional, emotional, and financial. Agreed, but I need to be prepared to say yes before I talk to him. You need to talk to boss. I think this email is not indicating he was arranging girls for all of them, but the word girls got him to say, careful, I will renew an old habit. I don't know. You always go to a different country when shit is hella fucked here. Okay, but you also have to realize shit is hella fucked in America all the time. So I would have to just like stay, even if I stayed in America the entire time, I would still encounter this kind of thing because it's just like virtually impossible. If you are covering American politics, there's gonna be some shit happening. America is a very country.